Good afternoon, guys. MWUSA Season 4, Episode 129. And I was updating my chart and was a little bit depressed by it, to be honest with you. I mean, doing well for the year, up about 80,000 or so. Still behind where I need to be by about 29 or 30,000, but we'll pick it up and we'll move forward. But I was hoping that by the time we got to episode 900 that we'd be at 900,000, but we're not. I don't know if we're going to be, because we're only about 11 episodes away from that, and I'm about $50,000 away. So maybe by episode 1000 we'll get to 1 million. I don't know. But we're doing everything we can to make money. We had a bad streak there, whatever it was, March I think it was, and early April, but since then, the last month or so has been really good, and I'd love to just keep it going like that, and we'll be right back on track. If the rest of the year is like the last 30 days were, we'll definitely be back on track and further ahead, so that's all good. Today is Sunday. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Just left home, and I realized something as soon as I left home, that I'd forgotten something, and that was I never took the car to Walmart this weekend for that tire that has that slow leak. So the light was on, and so I'm like, what am I going to do? I was going to stop and air it up, but I decided not to. Then I drove by a gas station on my way to the highway that had a pump, and I know it's going to be way faster than the one I have with me. So I stopped and put $2 in there and got that all where it's supposed to be, so I don't have to worry about it for the next couple days. And I'll try to get to Walmart one of these days, maybe one of the evenings this week. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, it'll be next Saturday before we can get there. Today, I'm going to try to go a little bit heavier than usual. I've been trying to do that all week, actually. Some success, some not, but we're going to try to keep pushing it a little bit more. And the only thing that's been keeping us from making money right now has not been variance for once. It's been full tables. So variance has been a lot better lately, but the tables have been packed. So now I told you that, okay, now we're in June. Today is June 1st. Next month, we're going to be going on the cruise, so I need to finalize all the excursions we're going to go on. I still didn't get a hotel. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. So I need to get a hotel for those few nights, the night before and the night. Actually, I have to check to see if we're flying out the same day that we come in. I think we are. So I may just need a hotel for the one night, which happens to be July 4th. And since we're on the coast, all the hotels are like super expensive, $400 and stuff, because I think they're doing fireworks displays maybe off the ocean there. So it doesn't matter where we are exactly, we can take an Uber to the ship, but I need to settle that up this week. As far as my friend Mike, his sister is a nut. Like, she's tutti frutti, like, seriously. She does have a screw missing, and he wants to go live with her, and he got the power of attorney back for himself, so he can do whatever he wants. So he wants to fly back to the area here, and I'm okay with letting him fly back to the area. I'm okay with him living with his sister. The problem is, he can't take care of himself very easily. He's going to need me to come pick him up and take him on my trips and stuff like that, and I'm not going to do that, and I don't think his sister's going to do that. So instead of being depressed in a place where people are waiting on him, he's going to be depressed in a place where someone's yelling at him, and I hate for that to happen to him. On top of that, he was having seizures in Vegas, so he's on seizure medicine. He's on blood pressure medicine because his blood pressure's too low. He's on about 10 different meds is what he told me. So with all that going on, she needs to set up doctors for him for all those different issues that he has, whether it's psychological issues, blood pressure issues, seizure issues, whatever it might be, and help the guy out. But I have a feeling she's just going to say, come on out, and not do anything. Then he's going to run out of medicine, and he could actually be very sick if that happens. So I'm trying to prevent that from happening. So July we go on the cruise. August I'm going to Vegas. for a training, quote training, because I need that in order to have a good review this year. And so I'll go do the training, and since I got mad at them and told them, since you guys didn't offer to pay for the training when I told you to, and you said the budget wasn't there, I'm going to go on the trip by myself, and I'm going to go to the training. And I'm actually hoping I'm going to be on the clock when I do that. And I'm not going to tell you guys what happened at the training, and I'm not going to share the information with anyone on the team, which is good. That takes the heat off me, because last year I had to go online, do research about what they were going to talk about, what the top issues of the year were, and I had to do a report about my training. This year, I'm not going to do that. So this year, I'm just going to say, I'm at a training, and I'm not going to take the days off. And, you know, I don't think they're going to do anything about it, and I'm going to get some free vacation days gambling in Vegas. So, and we'll see what happens. Talked to a friend today, and talked to him about a week ago about that trip to Vegas, about if this team that they have put together is still around, maybe I would join the team and maybe do a week in Vegas with them. I don't know. You know, I haven't really done a lot of that. I've done some big player stuff. I've done some hole carding stuff, but not a ton of it. I'd love to be on a team where we're spreading big and making big money. And I told the guy, at the Win, I've had the worst variance at the Win and the Encore. One trip I made like $8,000 there, but other than that, it's been down. So I would love to go over there and pound them good. You know, one hand at 100 to two hands at 2,500 or something like that. And I think they would let me do it. And I don't think I would get backed off. So I just don't want to risk my bankroll on that, because my bankroll right now, 2 by 2,500, I don't know what percent risk of ruin that would be, but that would be pretty high. So it might be 2 or 3%. So I'd love to keep it around 0.25% or less. Anyway, today we're going to hope to get a couple sessions of slots in, and at least 3 sessions of blackjack in. It's going to be a late night, and I'm going to be hitting multiple a lot of casinos and a lot of blackjack. I hopefully get a lot of time in, and we'll see what happens. So that's what's going on in my life right now, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So just hit the first casino and walking around. I see nothing, very busy, more nothing. I see an okay play, but not good. I thought maybe I might come back to that one. I go into the back area and I see Steve's daughter, my friend Steve, who's been sick. He's been out, he hasn't even been walking. I see his daughter, and I've got one more machine to check, and I was going to talk to her. I go check it, and then I sit down, and then she comes around, and I talk to her, and she's like, "Why are you playing this?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't find anything else. It was close enough, so I played it." And in fact, at the end, I left it in a position where a lot of people would start playing it, and I was done playing it because of other things, other factors. But anyway, she said, "Yeah, my dad's here." And I said, "What? Are you kidding?" So I went over, he was watching baseball. I talked to him for a while, had a conversation for about 15 minutes with him, and he looks gray. I think he has cancer in multiple places, and the medicine really takes its toll, but he said he's on a lot of steroids right now, and he's not doing great, but he was able to walk in, no walker or anything, and sit down in the chair. And he said that they were up like $100 for the day. I said, that's pretty good, because I ended my day ahead $78. So talked for a little while and learned a little bit more about what was going on with him and the kind of work that his daughter does and stuff, and said goodbye and said, we'll catch up again next time. So let him go, and hopefully he's going to get better. I heard the prognosis was really tough, but hopefully things turn out better for him. So anyway, we are going to continue on right now to another casino, and I didn't even mention the weather to you at all, but it's a really nice day out, almost clear skies, 69 degrees, and the temperature is topped out right now at 69 for the day. And but even tonight it's going to be 46. 46 is not bad when you're walking in and out of casinos, hot and stuff. you want to cool off, you get outside and cool off. It's not so bad. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna move on to the next casino, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So walking, looking around, find a blackjack table. Actually, I played a slot first. I was ahead like 22. Played a blackjack table, going from 15 to 100. 100 and what did I do there? 15 to 150, and played there for a short time though. Only like, you know, I got my notes. I should have them up here all the time. Only like 15 minutes or so, and then ended up getting more people at the table. So there were 4 of us at the table. So I colored up and left ahead 105, and then I went to another table, high limit table, spreading from one hand at 100 to one hand at who knows. I was going to go 500, maybe more, depending on how things were going. Never got good counts. I was there for 45 minutes. It seemed like 4.5 hours. It was so bad. First shoe was 16 minutes long. I can tell you because I remember looking at the clock. 16 minutes long, I lost 4,100. Second shoe was exactly 16 minutes long, I lost 100. I ended up switching tables when the next shoe was really bad. Bad start for the count. Switched tables, sat down at another table, started playing. I was involved for as much as 7,400, 7,500, and I got it up to like 45, almost 5,000, and things started leveling off, and then it went right down the abyss again, and I lost the whole 7,500 plus the 4 that was in my pocket. It was actually 405. That was in my pocket. I lost 400 there, and I walked away from the table with $5, down 7,900. Unbelievable. The first shoe, I never raised my bet. Second shoe, maybe once or twice, I raised my bet to 200. Just such bad variance, bad counts. I was just talking at the beginning of this podcast about how things have gotten a lot better the last 30 days after being so bad. And here we go again. So overall for that session, I was down 77.95 on the blackjack and plus 22 on the slots, and it's unbelievable. Every time I go back to the high limit, I get crushed. Go back to the low limit, even though there's more players sometimes, even though my sessions are shorter and I have to keep moving around, I seem to be doing much better. So right now I am going to continue on to a next casino here, and we will see, man. We will see. I'm speechless right now, but hopefully we don't lose that much again. So we're going to move on to another casino. I don't know. A lot of events going on in town, I guess. And this casino is pretty busy right now, is what I just heard from somebody. But let's see if we can get a table somewhere and make a little bit of money, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, to say that put me in a bad mood is an understatement. But I am cooled off a little bit right now, and it was just a very frustrating experience. So I got a text message from a friend that said that a certain person was here. So I came out here, figured I'd play, get some action in, see what happens. And supposed to be like a famous person here. So I come out here and looking around, don't see anything, decide to play a little bit of blackjack, go back to that area, and everything is just completely packed. Can't find a table. Finally find one, and sit down, buy in, and right away it looks like it's going well. And then all of a sudden I get this huge double it down, get a 20, dealer has a 6, lose the hand. That is frustrating. You're finally starting to feel a little bit better, feeling good and stuff like that. It took me back to about even. Would have been up like $1,800 at that point. Anyway, continued playing, played through, and like I said, everything's completely packed. Once you leave, where are you going to go? I mean, you can't switch tables. There's nowhere to go. So finally finished up at that table and left ahead $600, and then looked around the slots, and as I'm looking around, I see my friend, and this is one of the guys who all they do is ask for money. That's the only thing that they care about. Let me borrow, let me borrow, let me borrow. I said no. He said, I need to get 3 points on my card to get my free play, please. Just give me 20 bucks. I'll give it right back to you. I said, no. He said, $10. I said, you need to get 3 points on your card. Give me your card, and I'll play it for you. And then you'll get your 3 points. He's like, well, actually, I just wanted it so that I could play something else. But come on, please. Come on, please. I said, no. He said, $10. I said, no. And finally, he gave up on it, walked away, and he was walking with me. And I'm like, look, there's 18 cents in that machine. Why don't you grab that? You can pick up some change here and there. I picked up like a buck just walking around talking to him, but he was too good to do that. So, you know, you're sitting around the casino all day losing. Why are you here? And this guy's backstory is he's got a lot of money coming from an inheritance, a huge amount of money, and he'd be set for life, but he's still hanging around the casinos. Why are you at the casinos? I'm at the casinos so I can make money, so I can be independent and not have to go to casinos. And you're already going to be that already, so what are you doing here? And I was telling another friend of mine, I'm like, if I was him, I would just sit at home and wait for that inheritance to come, knowing that I'm set for life and I don't have to go back in the casinos, and I would ban myself from those casinos. And my friend says, well, he's already banned from every one of those casinos, but he still goes in there. I'm like, geez. So anyway, I ended my session ahead, $600 on the blackjack, $1 on the slots without playing any slots, and we're going to move on to another casino, hopefully not as busy, and we can get a little bit more table action and hopefully make some money. But right now, you know, still feeling the pain, still hard to sit down, but that's okay. Things will turn back around again. I was just hoping that the good run would last another 30 or 60 days before it flipped back down again. But, you know, we got one session under our belt. That's a winning session. Let's build on it. So it's still early. We're going to build on it, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, just pulling into next casino, blackjack, slots, everything in here. So let's see what we can do. Hopefully we can find a good table and be on here for a long time, and have some nice hits on here and build it up a little bit. But just pulling in, looks like this place is pretty packed as well, which is, I guess it shouldn't be surprising, but I really didn't think there'd be this many people here. So Sunday night, and it is packed. Well, let's see, we'll go down this way. If it's busy, then we'll go to another floor, and we'll get it figured out here. But going to be looking at a lot of different slots here. There's some must-hit buys. There's smaller amounts, but there's a lot of potential to make money on them. And I'm going to play those, and we're going to play some blackjack, and I'll come back and give you an update shortly. All right, guys, I am back and went to one of the casinos I don't like very much. I used to play this casino quite a bit. Used to make a lot of money at this casino, but I have some suspicions about this one I've talked about before. Anyway, I go into this place looking around for slots, don't see anything. Finally find a couple plays, one play, I guess, and I was down like $130 on that one. Then I went and played blackjack, came back to slots, and ended the slot session. I had $2 just to wrap that up. So $2 on the slots. Now blackjack, a whole different story. I buy in for 500. When I buy in for 500, I'm by myself at the table, new shoe. Guy comes to the table with $5,000 chips and $1,000 chips. Buys in for $6,000 in chips. I have a cop next to me here. Great. in a town where you can't hold the phone. All right, so I'm going to yell from across the car here because I want to be safe. So stupid. Anyway, I ended up, so I bought in for 500. He bought in for 6,000, and he's playing 2 hands, and then he wants to change the cards around, go to 1, back to 2, and every time he would change from 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, the dealer would get a blackjack without fail every single time. The dealer, and we were getting punished like crazy on that table. I rebought for 500 more, and then another 500, and then I ended up leaving that table, I think, with either 0 or like $100 in chips. I was down like 1,500. Moved to the table on the other side of the pit, which was empty, and I was just avoiding it because it was close to the end of the shoe, but they're not spreading the cards, so I'm not getting a new shoe. So I went over there, I sat down, and I asked if I could get a new shoe. I said, the way I do it, and I don't know if it's helpful to you or not, is I say, how is that shoe going? And if they say, I don't know, I just got here, which is 99% of the time, they're going to pretend that they don't know that they just got there. So, I don't know, I just got here. And I say, man, what if it's a bad shoe? I really don't want to play it. Can I get a new one? And they're like, yeah, I'm sure that'll be okay. And we get that out of the way first, because usually at these casinos, if you don't have a player's card, they're not going to give you a new shoe. So if I ask before I even buy in, then they're going to be like, oh yeah, we could do that for you. Okay, 500. Do you have a card? No. Oh, too bad. We already gave them a new shoe. So that's what I'm saying. So ended up doing that. Started playing. After a couple of hands, I was down like 300 or 400, maybe like 5 minutes into it, and a guy comes to the table and he's telling me that he's down about 8,000 for the day. And I said, join the club, pal. And he ended up losing a couple thousand, so he was down like almost 10,000 for the day. And he said he was moving and he needed that money to move, and he's upset with himself and all that. We're all upset with ourselves. We all could have stayed home tonight and watched some TV and relaxed and been lazy. Instead, we're out losing money for some reason. But anyway, he leaves, and I continue playing. And he was playing the side bet for a very large amount of money. And as soon as he left, I was hitting that side bet like crazy, big time money. And of course, I'm not betting it because for it to be favorable, the count would have to be so tremendous, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I continue playing. I end up buying in for a total of 3,000 between the two tables, and I've got like 1,200 in front of me. And he comes back to the table with another 1,000, and he buys in for that 1,000, and he goes on a tear on the next shoe. And by the time the shoe ends, I check my money. I'm up 200. I think my high for the session was only like plus 450. And my low was like minus 2,400. And I said, I'm going to leave. And he's like, well, he figured that he'd gotten all his money back. He was up somewhat, but he didn't know how much. But he was going to play a $600 hand to start the shoe. And if he loses it, he was going to leave. He was going to do 400 on the blackjack hand and 200 on the side bet. And I said, you told me you were moving, right? And he said, yeah. He goes, I need this money for furniture and for moving and all that. I said, you got all your money back, and you've got at least $600 extra, probably more. Well, why don't you take that $600, go spend $200 on your wife, and don't tell her that you went to the casino. Then you'll be a big hero. You bought something nice for her, and you weren't an ass that you were spending all your money that you shouldn't have been spending at the casino. And he's like, I don't know. And so I get up, I color up, and I'm leaving. And he goes, you know what? You're right. I'm going to do that. Thanks for looking out for me. I said, sure. So he colors up and he leaves. I go and cash out 22 of my 3,200. And then he's right behind me 2 minutes later. He counts his chips. He's ahead like $1,500. So in one shoe, he went from like 1,000 to like 12,500 or something like that. In one shoe. Not knowing what you're doing. So I end up cashing out the rest of my chips at the other cashier. Everything is good. I'm all done. And I'm walking around. and I see this lady, and everybody's like looking at her and pointing and all this stuff. So I go over to see what's going on, and she's playing a 50-cent machine that's not even beatable, and she hits the grand jackpot on this machine for $10,500. $10,500, doesn't even know what she's doing, and we're working our butt off trying to make any kind of money and suffering today. But alas, that's the way it is. I bet she's not up overall lifetime, and I am, so that's okay. So right now I'm going to head over to another casino, see if we can make a little bit more money, and then I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back, and interesting stop. A lot of stuff happened in there, a lot of machines, a lot of moving around, a lot of talking to people, a lot of everything. I was in there for about an hour and a half. Right now it's a little bit after 2 a.m. as I'm leaving, and we're moving on to the next place. I ended my session okay, so let me think here. Did I, I'm gonna have to think about where okay, so table wise, I ended the session ahead $1,851. I did play some slots, but you know what, I think that was earlier and I was getting it mixed up. So just one session on the tables, spreading 1 to 6. Had a really rough start, and bought in and bought in and bought in and bought in and bought in, and I was getting a little bit stressed out. Overall on that stop I was involved for $6,000, and I ended up leaving ahead $1,851. So it was just a very long session. It's too much to even go over. It's just a lot of downturns at the beginning, and then some real good variance toward the end, and ended up doing all right. But had some weird things happen too, because I was cashing out a lot of money, and I thought that there were multiple people watching me, and I ended up leaving kind of in a weird way. I kind of was walking, they were behind me, so I stopped and stood there for a while, waited for them to go by. Then they were talking to the security guard, and I passed them and hurried to my car, and then I thought I saw one of them in the parking garage, and I got the heck out of there. And so yeah, a very long time. I was in there maybe like an hour and a half, I would say, maybe hour and 45 minutes. And really the problem is getting to work on time right now. So we're heading out and moving on toward home. We have one more stop we want to make, and hopefully we can make a little bit more money there and really get things a little bit better for the day. Next 2 days, obviously, it's going to be hard for me to get out and make a lot of money. So this will be my last stop before being kind of chained to the office for a while. So that's what's going on right now. Weather-wise, it's still absolutely beautiful. Traffic is like zero traffic right now. Temperature outside is 51 degrees, so couldn't ask for a better situation, traffic or weather-wise. And we're moving on to the next stop, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I'm recording this here. I don't remember. At the beginning of this episode, I think I said episode 900 was coming up. It's episode 800. So episode 800 is coming up, and I was hoping to be at plus 900, but that's not going to happen. So maybe episode 900 I'll be at 1 million, but who knows? The way it's going right now, things have been really, I thought we were over the rough patch here, but it looks like we're still in it. So anyway, we are just arriving at our next casino, and I'll be back to update you. All right, real quick, I just want to go over this. I mentioned to you that I was moving the podcast to YouTube, and I was currently using Headliner, which converts it to a video and then uploads it. Well, with Headliner, it just moves over the title of it, and I wanted the full podcast to be on there with all the information. And so I set it up with YouTube, and then I had to go in individually and make episodes public. And I was about 500 episodes into it when I realized that now I had 2 of every episode on YouTube because it looks like a video. So I went back and deleted all of them one at a time and removed the feed completely, then put the feed back in and told it only to download new episodes, and then I turned off Headliner temporarily. So you should notice starting this episode that it should have more information, more details and notes and stuff like that in it. And now it's the actual feed, so if I make a change to it, it will change. So if I change it in Spotify, then everywhere that it goes, it'll change, including YouTube, where before I would have to go in and manually do it. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Just wanted to let you know, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back, and one in there, and believe it or not, almost 4 a.m. and someone is in there checking machines. Unbelievable. And as I left, I saw him playing, and he's playing way too early, and I've seen this guy around before. He's not going to last very long, but whatever, let him do what he wants to do, and he'll be gone in a few months for sure. I only found 2 small plays in there, and played those through and ended my session ahead $19, but that's all I could do. So all in all, not a great day. Not a great day at all. But we could do our segments. What did you eat today, MW? And this morning, my wife made a roast for lunch. We had a roast, and that was excellent. I give that a 10 on a scale of 2 through ace. And I had some like beans with that. That was good. And then as I was driving to my second casino, actually, I stopped at a gas station, got fuel, and I actually bought a container of ham. It's like sliced ham, like 9 ounces of ham. And it was about $5, so not terrible for a gas station, but well packaged and everything. It's like something you'd buy at a grocery store that's pre-packaged, but it was all right. So I give that probably an 8 on a scale of 2 through ace. And what did you tip today, MW? Today, let's see, blackjack wise, I tipped $0, and slot wise, I tipped $0. So $0 tip today, and just overall not the greatest day. Definitely could do better. And it always happens the same way when I have a bad day like this. It's the sessions are bad from start to finish. It's like the worst variance, and I wonder if I do like a stop loss and take a break and then come back in a half hour. If anything would change, I understand the mathematics and they do pan out in the long run, but it just seems like the bad days are always bad start to finish, where the high for the session is 0 and the low is your entire buy-in or close to it. And I don't know, and it happened to be my big session, the high limit session, but what are you going to do? So we're going to keep grinding away, and we'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll be going to the office, have at least 2 sessions, and going to be doing a lot of personal paperwork and things like that at the office. So everything should be good, and then back on Wednesday we're going to be traveling again, and we may go to a new area Wednesday, somewhere that we only go to maybe a couple times a year. So we will be thinking about that. So right now, still continuing on my trip home. Should be home around 6:30, maybe 7. and we'll get ready for work and head out to the office. So that's it for now. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.